Kathleen, are you there?
Yeah, hi, Jeanette.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we have you on the phone to talk about a few things. One of them is a movie coming to Calgary this Sunday called Le Tigre on Tour. For those of you that already know and love Kathleen, Hanna, and of course love Le Tigre, you'll know them very well. And those that don't know them for some reason should definitely come out and check out the movie. But let's talk about you and Le Tigre and what you're doing now. Kathleen, Hanna, of course, the original Riot Girl, starting off with Bikini Kill in the mid-1990s and pushing feminist music into its present state, and getting started with Le Tigre and sort of reaching mass media with that Tell Us ad, the Decepticon song with Tell Us. For those of you, Calgary already knows and loves Le Tigre, but that song, I guess, probably would have brought you to a whole other different level. Is that true?
I don't really know.
It's kind of a weird question, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to tell how people find out about your band, really.
Yeah.
But that, I guess, was one of the big commercials that we did. So maybe that, brought some new fans. But that song definitely is something that younger people know about a lot.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. I did some teaching at the Rock Camp for Girls here in Brooklyn. And I did this presentation, not this year, but last year, on punk rock feminism, because a lot, they're too young. They didn't know about what was going on in the 90s. And I talked a lot about Riot Girl, and I talked about my band Bikini Kill and my project Julie Ruin. I did a PowerPoint. It was really dorky. And then at the end, I was like, and then, here's the latest band I did. It's called Le Tigre, and I showed them a video of Decepticon, and they were all like, oh, we love that song. We totally know that song. And it was really interesting because they're like, you're that girl?
Wow, yeah.
Because they didn't know anything about Bikini Kill or any of that stuff. They were just like, oh, yeah, that Who Took the Bump song.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really interesting. I was like, oh, that's so cool that 15 and 16-year-olds know that song.
Right. And how was that to reach a whole new generation of, young girls that are into music?
Well, it's pretty amazing. I mean, especially because I started playing music when I was 19, and now I'm 41, and to still have some sort of connection with younger girls is really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels like I've had a really lucky career.
Great.
I'm still doing new stuff and trying new things and enjoying it, and people are still liking it, so I'm psyched.
That's great, yeah. And so where do you see feminist music now? I mean, obviously you're still a part of that. You're still showing, girls how to rock, basically. But as a whole, do you see that movement, has reached a certain level, or it's in a certain state right now?
Well, I think, right now there's kind of a resurgence of the 90s because, there's that weird thing that happens, when I was in high school in the 80s, everybody was really into the 60s.
Right.
And now it's, 2010, and everybody's into the 90s again. So it's interesting that this kind of Riot Girl resurgence is happening, and younger people are getting interested in what we were doing in the 90s. And my hope for that is just that, instead of just consuming what we did, it's going to hopefully encourage people to create feminism from their own locations and their own desires, and make things relevant to their generation. So I feel really hopeful and really excited, and there's so many great new bands. There are all those bands that came out of Portland a couple years ago, like the New Bloods, that I really, really liked. And that band Mika Miko, I think they broke up, and I love Bronte's band Younger Lovers and Finally Punk, and I'm into Best Coast. So I just think there's a lot of great music happening now, and a lot of feminist musicians, male and female, are really wearing their influences on their sleeves these days. There's a lot of bands super influenced by Delta 5 and the Modettes and the Raincoats, and it's really obvious in the music, or even all of the kind of bands that came out a little while ago that were sounding like ESG. And it was really interesting to me that people are really proud to say, oh, I love this music made by women, and I'm so inspired by it. And no one's trying to act like they're inventing the wheel themselves. People are really kind of celebrating the community that's been created by women in music. And I think that is a really exciting new thing to be happening in music.
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't think right now it's as much about, I'm going to sing lyrics specifically about sexism, but it's more like, I'm going to celebrate what has already been done and I'm going to build on it. And I think that's a really cool way to do things.
Yeah, most definitely. And still, not neglecting the fact that people like yourself have been working for years and years to make that possible for younger generations, newer generations. So thank you. I have to say.
Great of you to say.
I also want to just talk to you quickly about Le Tigre on film. So this are Le Tigre on Tour, the film Le Tigre on Tour, which documents Le Tigre touring around the world, your experience as a band. And I'm incredibly excited to see the movie. I got to meet the editor-director, Kirthi Fix, a little while back. And she was, we were talking about what it's like to be a girl in rock and roll and traveling. And those are sort of the themes that the movie touches on. But from your personal experience, is that something, when you were getting filmed for this movie, that was sort of coming into play? Like, wow, we're really opening the doors to what it's like to be a girl on tour and a girl with, certain feminist ideals and what the world sees us as and our fans, etc.
Well, when we were filming it's actually really interesting because it was originally just supposed to be a document of the show. We started with just like a slide projector and a bunch of broken down equipment, and we ended up having, costumes and choreography and a video projection, and we had a lighting director, and we really spent a lot of time and energy on the show. And in Bikini Kill, my band in the 90s, we just didn't have very much documentation of what we did, and I was like, I'm not going to let that happen again. So we saved money and we bought a nice camera, and we had our lighting director just film every show kind of from one location, like where he was doing the lights. Like, he just set up the camera and left it there. And that was really the idea, was this is going to be like an archival thing.
Right.
And we didn't really think about anything else. So it wasn't like, oh, we're being filmed for this documentary we're making. He just kind of shot backstage stuff on his own, thinking, oh, this is interesting. And we did start thinking, oh, it'd be cool if you came to this radio interview with us and shot it, because maybe we could use it for the bonus reel.
Right.
But we weren't really thinking that all of the backstage stuff was going to be used. Mm-hmm. So it was pretty candid, like just us like going, oh, yeah, the camera's on, let's goof around. And not thinking that was ever really going to be a part of it. But when Kirthi started sorting through the material, she's like, yeah, I think there's something here. So it wasn't really this conscious thing of like, we're going to take the cameras backstage and show people what it's like. Mm. And, it's like, it's not like every second of every day I'm like, I'm a woman in music. I'm a woman in music. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. We're just like, I've been a working musician since I was like 19 or 20. It's been 20 years doing this. And, well, of course, my gender is constantly brought up to me. Mm-hmm. It's not something that I'm constantly obsessing over, you know what I mean? It's like, I feel like I'm a show person as much as I'm a woman, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and putting on a show and putting on a good show is really, really important to me, and I kind of am pretty focused on that when I'm on the road, so I hope that answers your question.
It certainly does. Thank you. It's a great answer, and intriguing as well as to what you're doing now. What are you up to now?
Well, I was taking some time off and working on the Riot Girl Archive, which is an archive at NYU, and they basically, I had to organize all of my papers, my old fanzines, pictures, videos, all that stuff, and I donated that to them, and I'm helping them get in touch with other people who helped kind of create the movement, genre, whatever you want to think of it as. Mm-hmm. And that actually was, I guess about 6 months of my life spent on that project. And I'm writing a new record with some friends, not really sure what it's going to be yet, but I'm excited about it. And actually tonight I'm going to a party for Sarah Marcus's book, Girls to the Front, which is a meticulously researched book about Riot Girl, the first one of its kind, and we're going to be celebrating that in Brooklyn tonight, so I'm really excited. And then, of course, the movie, just setting that up for distribution and doing all the kind of boring business stuff that has to do with putting out a movie.
Right. Yeah. So that's interesting. The Academia of Pop Culture is really, you're playing a large role in that. You're like a librarian in sorts.
Yeah. I mean,
material.
I collected everything so that I could. I'm really excited that it's found a home, and that people who want to write about music or feminism or the combination of the two from the 90s will have somewhere that they can go and flip through this stuff and kind of see the uncensored version of the good, the bad, and the ugly of what happened.
Mm-hmm. Great. You said you were writing a record with some friends. Do you want to shed light on who those are? Or do you rather go unnamed for now?
I think I will say that I am working with Kenny Melman, who of Kiki and Herb fame, which you guys, I don't know if you guys know about them up there, but they're a really kind of famous duo, downtown duo. And Kenny also does just a lot of music and comedy in Manhattan, and he's playing keyboards. And Carmine Cavelli, actually, who shot the Le Tigre documentary, is the drummer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we kind of just kept working together after. It's been really great. Oh, my God, I can't believe my phone's ringing.
Sorry.
I'm going to let it go.
Well, we've talked to you. We don't want to keep you too long. Are we keeping you too long, I hope? We don't have too much time.
No, I'm fine.
Great. It's been such a pleasure talking to you, Kathleen, and I'm really excited. I haven't seen the movie yet, so I'm really excited to check it out this Sunday, and I just wish you luck with all of your future endeavors, and we can't wait to see what you're up to next.
Thank you so much. I hope you guys like the movie.
Oh, I know we're going to love it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.